Krishna Krishna. Krishna Krishna. The whole of Vrindavan, everyone knew that Krishna was their friend, Krishna was their protector, and Krishna was the giver of joy and happiness to everyone. And everyone just loved Krishna. He was their very own. Is he yours? Is he yours? Okay. Are you his? Everybody felt that Krishna belongs to them and they belong to Krishna. One day, when the boys, and now that they had grown up a little bit, mothers had given them responsibility. They would take the cows out into the grazing field. They had already been trained by taking the calves, now the cows itself. And now while the cows were grazing, the children used to play games there. Many, many lovely, lovely games they used to play. And one of their favorite was ball throwing. And they used to play those ball games, throwing balls, tag ball, hitting each other with the ball, and then catching each other with the ball. But one day while playing, they came to that part of the river whose color had changed. And the boys and the cows were so thirsty that in spite of the changed color of the waters of the river Yamuna, they were so thirsty that they went and drank the water. And many of them just fainted, and you could not even tell whether they were alive or dead. And when Krishna saw so many of the boys and the calves poisoned, he was surprised. But then Krishna was alone there, and Krishna, being the Lord of the universe, he brought them back to life. Now, in the village, already everybody knew that there is, in that part of the river, where now the people from Gokul had moved there, and children and calves and cows' lives were in danger, because in that area of Yamuna was this 100-hooded snake whose name was Kaliya. And he lived there with many of other snakes, his wives and his little children. And he had poisoned that lake. And the fumes of that poison, the spray from the water where it used to go, many birds used to fall down dead, and he would eat them up. And even the trees around it was dead. The people of Vrindavan were very concerned. They were very afraid that what will happen if their children and the cows carelessly go nearby and they get poisoned. They said, let's move from here. But Krishna doesn't like selfish people who harm others. We all have a right to live, but not to harm anybody. So, Krishna thought and told everybody, like that we'll have to move from every place, because every place these wicked people are there. Should we not do something about it? But they said, oh, Kaliya is a ferocious, huge snake with 100 heads and so poisonous that even the fumes, even the smoke even just a spray of his poison, and a person can be dead. One day, as my grandmother told me, that they were playing on the banks, and while they were playing tag ball, when Krishna was tagged and Krishna had the ball in his hand and all the boys were running here and there, Krishna catch us, Krishna catch us, Krishna catch us. And once Krishna catches, he does not leave. And Krishna threw the ball so much with might, he threw the ball that the ball went straight into the river. And when the ball went into the river, one of his friends to whom the ball belonged, he got upset and he said, "That was my ball, and Krishna, you're always doing mischief. You threw the ball, you must get me my ball." The ball went and sat straight on his head. And he didn't know what hit him. But in the water, the ball falls lightly, but something hit him. And he was coughing out even more poison. The bubbles started rising. But that friend of Krishna, "I want my ball, I want my ball, I want my ball, I want my ball only. You threw my ball deliberately into the river." Other boys were watching, but Krishna said, "Okay, I'll go and bring the ball." And when he went close to the ball, means close to the river, all the boys could see that the smoke of the poison, Krishna was sneezing, but Krishna did not stop. He climbed one tree, and that was the only tree that was alive in that area. Krishna climbed that tree and he said, "Okay, I'm going to bring the ball." And that boy said, yes, bring my ball. The other boy started screaming, "Krishna, there is Kaliya in the river. Krishna, it's dangerous, there is poison." But that boy at that time said, no, I want my ball, I want my ball. But when Krishna was ready to jump and his friend saw that Krishna is serious, he also called out, "Krishna, no, I don't want the ball." But Krishna already stood on the tree branch, gave a smile, held his hands high, and making a loud sound, he jumped straight into the river. And with such a huge splash, he went into the river. Kaliya again got disturbed. But most of the time, he was sleeping. Because he used to eat so much, and there was everything around him, poison. So he was sleepy. Krishna saw Kaliya, and the ball was in his tail. Krishna went slowly swimming, and Kaliya with his 100 hoods, now one hood is snoring, then the other hood, then from some of his mouth poison is coming out, some of his mouth fire is coming out, other bubbles are coming out, and Krishna goes so courageously, swims, goes in the middle of his coiled tail, takes the ball, and comes and stands. And all this time, Krishna has to hold his breath. How long can you hold your breath? But Krishna was holding his breath, and Krishna took the ball and he hit the ball. And in water, do you know how much might you need to hit the ball? He hit the ball, and Kaliya was, and the ball hit him, and he went, and whole water went turning upside down, and there was a turmoil in the water and the muddy water. Meanwhile, outside, even Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya and all the people of Vrindavan, when they heard that Krishna has gone into the river where there is Kaliya, Oh, they went running to the river. Yashoda Maya was crying away. Her little baby had gone into the river. She was screaming away. She ran into the river. People pulled her back. But she fainted there. All the gopis also fainted there because Krishna was their life. And Krishna is gone there. Only Balram knew who was Krishna. And he says, don't you worry. Where Krishna is there, you don't have to worry. He knows how to protect everybody. But they were frightened. Nanda Baba also, to save Krishna, wanted to run into the river, but everybody held him back. Balram held him back and says, don't be afraid. But for them, Krishna was their little baby. Even though he had protected them from so many Rakshasas, so many demons, still they loved Krishna as their own child. And Krishna loved that. Krishna loves everybody. But to be loved as someone's child, even Bhagwan doesn't get a chance. No? So Krishna played the role of that little boy, and while he was there, this snake, now he was awake, and he saw Krishna there. He said, who are you? And he went charging at Krishna. Because Krishna, even in those muddy waters, was shining like a jewel with its own light. He was shining, and he came charging with his fangs on Krishna. And Krishna was so swift that Krishna moved out and he bit the dust. He went down and he bit the dust. Some of his fangs also, teeth broke out, and he kept on making all those noises and all that. Meanwhile, Krishna was still there. He saw Krishna and he started chasing Krishna. Krishna was swimming fast, and as though Krishna was saying, catch me if you can. And he was going, doing. He was swimming and going. At that time, Kaliya managed to get close to Krishna. But Krishna went under his hood and came out and swam far away. And meanwhile, Kaliya again hit his tail. Now Krishna held the tail and he twisted the tail. He twisted the tail. So strong was Krishna. And Kaliya saying, leave me. And Krishna says, what? Once I catch, I don't leave. But he said, please leave me. So Krishna left him. Now that his tail was turned, he went, he started swirling down. And the whole water became muddy. Everybody was frightened. But in that swirling, Kaliya managed to catch Krishna by his tail and hit Krishna so strongly, so hard, that Krishna fainted. And meanwhile, Kaliya came out on the top. And there was one small little island in the water, and he came there. And he was furious, and all the people could see, and they could see Krishna coiled in his tail. What will happen now? For 1 hour, Krishna was in his tail, and Kaliya was showing off that, see, if anyone challenges me, this is what's going to happen. Everybody was there not knowing what to do. But Krishna saw that everybody is crying. Krishna quickly expanded his body, his tail relaxed, Krishna became small and came out of his tail and jumped on Kaliya's many hoods. And when Kaliya would raise his hood, Krishna would step upon it and make him spit out his poison. Every poisonous hood that stood up to strike, Krishna would step on it, and he would put his leg firmly on it, make him spit out the poison. And like that, from one hood to another hood to another hood. And with the anklets on Krishna's feet, with the flute in his hand, and Kaliya's tail in his other hand, Krishna jumped from one hood to another hood. And every time Kaliya raised his hood, he would jump on Kaliya and his hood would get crushed and he would spit out the poison. And then from one hood to another hood, from one hood to another hood. And everybody saw that the Lord of the universe, of all the arts, was doing a dance on the hood of Kaliya. And his anklets, rum jum, rum jum, rum jum, rum jum, rum jum. He was doing all this. And what a beautiful dance. Do you want to see Krishna's dance? All the gopas and the gopis were seeing this happening. They started singing. Do you want to sing so that Krishna can dance? Do you want to dance with Krishna? Why don't you just get up, sing and dance? Gopal, Gopal, nacho Gopala, Gopal, Gopal, nacho Gopala, nacho, nacho, mere Nand Lala, nacho, nacho, mere Nand Lala. Rum jum, nacho Gopala, rum jum, nacho Gopala, rum jum, rum jum, nacho Gopala, rum jum, rum jum, rum jum, rum jum. Rum jum, nacho Gopala, nacho, nacho, mere Nand Lala, nacho, nacho, mere Nand Lala. Gopal, Gopal, nacho Gopala, Gopal, Gopal, nacho Gopala, nacho, nacho, mere Nand Lala, nacho, nacho, mere Nand Lala, nacho, nacho, mere Nand Lala. And when Krishna had made Kaliya vomit out all his poison, and all the people were clapping and cheering away, and Krishna was dancing away, all the Mrs. Snakes, that is Kaliya's wife, along with all the little snakes came out onto that little island, and they started praying to Krishna. They prayed. They said, we know Krishna. No one could defeat this Kaliya. No one can dare to dance upon his hood and make him vomit out his anger, his bitterness, his poison. But please, he is our husband, our father. Please, O Krishna, you are the Lord of the universe. You are the Lord of love and compassion. And I know that you have come to protect all the good and to teach the evil and bad people their lessons. And we know that you have done all this and crushed his head, his pride, his arrogance, his ego, and made him vomit out all his bitter poison. But we know that you are a Lord of love and compassion. And you have done this to bless Kaliya himself. Even though it looks like a punishment, it is to bless Kaliya. And think about it, oh Lord, what a blessing you have given. So please, please, don't kill this Kaliya, because he must have done something good, that even to get the dust of your feet, even one grain of dust of your feet, the whole universe gets blessed. And it is so, so rare. And Kaliya, your feet have been on his head, and his head is covered with the holy dust of your feet. And now his head has got all your marks. Even to get a glance, even to be able to see and to bow down to your feet and get the dust of your feet is such great blessings. Indeed, our Kaliya cannot have been so bad because he has got the touch of your feet, for which even the devatas of heaven crave for want. Because once we even get the dust of the feet of the Lord, we get that blessings, we get that protection, after which we don't have to worry about anything. So, please leave Kaliya. Don't kill him. He lives here out of fear. And see, many of these ferocious creatures or even people, they appear so bitter, they become so poisonous, they frighten others because they themselves have got fear. Kaliya himself, hearing his wives and children and his pride completely defeated, he also prayed to Krishna, who was on his head, and said, "Oh Krishna, I am very sorry. I did not recognize who you are and everything that I have done." And Krishna said, "But I have to stay here." And Krishna says, "Everybody has got a right to stay, but not to harm others. Therefore, now you leave from here and go to the island in the middle of the ocean where you can stay with your family without harming anybody. Otherwise here, how many creatures are going to die by the poison of your from your hood?" He said, "But you know why I'm afraid and I'm staying here?" He said, "I know. Because you're afraid of the mighty eagle Garuda. But if you go to that island, Garuda will not harm you. And now you've got the touch of my feet and the mark of my feet. My Garuda knows you have got my protection and he will not harm you. Now leave this water of the river, which is meant for people to drink, and you go to the island in the ocean where you can live happily with your family. At the same time, others are not harmed by you." And Kaliya, remember, in life, never become bitter, become better. Yeah? Saying this, Kaliya and all the snakes bow down to Krishna, and Krishna came down to the shores. And Kaliya left river Yamuna, and Yamuna's water in a very, very short time became pure and started flowing for everyone to get life and to be able to drink from that water and play on the banks of the river Yamuna. Krishna came to the banks, everybody hugged him and said, "Our Krishna, 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 Krishna." And whole evening there, they danced and they sang. And they were very, very tired. So they decided that we are going to have a night out, a picnic, a sleepover on the banks of the river Yamuna in Vrindavan, the forest of Vrindavan. And they all stayed there at the night. But something happened at night. And that we will tell you next time. While everybody slept, saying Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Krishna Krishna,